We're going to talk about the big issues of the day. Joining me for our daily panel, Chris Henry, 818 Managing Director, and Agnes Lohenny, former National MP. Kia ora, good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Look, you're both in business, and ASB's telling us next year is going to be better, and we're all like, phew. Are you seeing any signs of it yet, Agnes?
Yes, we are as a business, but you know, that said, we've had a really tough year. First two quarters in particular, I think we barely broke even. But these last two quarters have been positive, they've been strong. What's helped us as a business is we've managed to get sales offshore. That's helped to sort of temper the slower domestic sales, but definitely there are green shoots. And look, we've been around for over 20 years, and so we've been in some rough times, and you get battered a bit, but it still hurts, and we're just, anything positive is good. And look, we don't need perfection, we don't need perfect conditions, we just need some predictable ones going forward. So I see it as a positive.
Yeah, so you're in the fashion industry.
Yep.
Chris, you're in publicity, so you're publicising all the events. Are people opening their wallets and going to those events?
Yeah, definitely. We're seeing it much stronger than it has been. People's discretionary income in a whole is still tight. People are very selective about what they're going to, but what I am pleased to see is that there is some more positive talk. I think a lot of people are reading the news and taking on board what's kind of going on, and we had this sort of survive to 25 and then make it to 26 and all that sort of stuff. And so I'm really pleased going into the back end of the year. There's a bit of talk in the market that next year might feel a bit more positive, and leave everyone going into that Christmas break just feeling a bit better about what things might look like next year.
I think everyone's just a bit tired, It was tough, and everyone was crawling to Christmas with the potential that there will be strikes that are disrupting our Christmas travel. I mean, can we blame the cabin crew? They have got this brilliant piece of leverage that the busiest travel part of the year is coming up.
Exactly, and look, if you're going to have a strike, you sort of want it to sort of, I guess, impact the most people and get the most noise about it. But look, I still can't help feel it's a bit mean-spirited. It's Christmas, it's a time that people are trying to catch up with their loved ones at an expensive time of year. So there's that too. So it's just sort of like, I wished it wasn't that way. But obviously, look, they've got to make their case, and I guess this is how they think the best to make it forward.
Yeah, what do you think, Chris?
I mean, I agree in part. I think that it's an amazing leverage tool. I mean, Air New Zealand will be trying their absolute hardest for it not to be that strike action. I also note that they've sort of managed to sort a couple of different ones. The secondary school teachers have managed to sort their last one out, so I think there's a few people just trying to get their last little bits in sort of before Christmas.
Clear that in tray and start the new year fresh.
If I was a betting man, I'd say that it wasn't going to happen because it would cause a huge amount of disruption and not a great way for Air New Zealand PR-wise to go into the new year.
Yeah, fingers crossed. The social media ban is coming into effect in Australia this week. Chris, what's your take? I know that you in the past have worked with lots of influencers in your business. Do you think that it's going to work?
I have to say I'm a bit pessimistic about it. I think the idea of young people not being on social media is a great idea. 16 seems quite old when you see how children are in their 12, 13, 14. I also think that children are the future and a lot smarter than we are. So I think the idea of how we would do some sort of ban of social media is just going to push it further underground and become less of something that people are across or talking about as a family. I don't know whether this is naive. I don't have children currently, but I imagine that children are just smart enough to be able to get around this, and then suddenly we have this sort of more of a dark web sort of environment versus sort of parents being able to work together on social media with their families and their children.
Agnes, are you pessimistic about it, or are you like, bring it across the Tasman?
I'm probably down the middle. I've got 5 kids, so the 2 older ones weren't affected with smartphones, so I've seen that. And so the next 3, we've had just a constant struggle in our household.
Yeah.
And my youngest, who's 15, he won't mind me saying this, is we've had to put him onto a dummy phone this year. So we've put away his smartphone for the term time and put him onto a dummy phone because he just couldn't self-regulate. And even though we tried to put some rules in place in the household, it's been really tough. And on the weekend at a barbecue, I was talking to a dad, talked about his teenage daughters, and we talked about this tension with phones. So it is absolutely real. But I think also we do have to think about what are the unintended consequences. So it's just trying to strike a balance. And I think Australia, we've got a bill in Parliament at the moment that's still sort of working its way through around.
Don't think it's quite a bill
No, sorry,
yet,
it's still,
but they're working on it.
Yeah.
Do you think that would help so that you could say to your son, look, it's not Mum's fault. Christopher Luxon said you can't go.
Well, look, there's been positive flow on from the phone bans in school, so we know that the phones are a distraction. And so I think it's just going a step further. What will they look like in terms of, is it workable? And I think, you know, the unintended consequences of what potentially could happen need to be well thought through as well.
Yeah, some interesting perspectives. Thank you both. And hey, thanks for dressing in theme this morning. We're all bright and sunshiny,
The sun
sort
is
of
out
yellow.
here at Kimikoto, so why not get amongst it, eh?
Thank you very much,
Thank
Chris
you.
Henry and Agnes Lohenny on our panel this morning.